Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode, I guess, of the Horological Happy Hour. I'm Justin.
I'm Rob.
And we are psyched to be back. We're finally fully recovered from our Watches and Wonders Supersode.
That was a good one.
It was.
If you guys didn't see it, all of these do live here on our YouTube page under the live tab there. So if you did want to go back and check that out, we did a full rundown of a lot of the major brands and things that came out. I think it was a very interesting show. And we're actually going to talk about our favorites from the show, because we did a lot of review and things, but we didn't actually talk about the ones that we liked.
We blabbed a lot. We said a lot of words, but we didn't really talk about what our favorite picks from the show were. So Rob and I kind of now that the dust has settled a little bit, we decided to kind of take a step back and think about what some of our favorite pieces from the show were. So we're going to do that. We're going to talk about some of these crazy new arrivals on the table. We kind of pulled out all the stops this week.
Yeah.
There's some pretty ridiculous stuff on the table, which we're going to get to. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about the recent Sotheby's auction in Hong Kong that happened this past weekend. If you guys didn't hear about it or didn't see, there were some record-setting sales. The most expensive crash ever sold, some crazy pieces. Rob and I picked some of our favorites.
We have some lots that are notably exceptional, and then we have some lots that are very interesting.
Yeah.
So stay tuned, because it's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah.
I think these glasses look a little empty.
I think you need to take care of that. Yeah.
Let's open up this Balvenie.
And then finally, while Rob pours, at the end of the show, we're going to reveal the winner/loser of our Swatch AI battle. So we went ahead and put a little poll on our socials, asked you guys to vote, and with like 125 votes in over the past couple of days, we have a winner. I'll take the bottle if you want to give me the bottle. I'm happy to do that, buddy.
I was too busy thinking about the fact that...
Do you have a straw or something?
I wanted to point out that you are wearing an absolutely lovely watch right now.
Robert, I seem to see another fine timepiece on your wrist over there, buddy.
I feel like we have elevated both our own personal style and the overall ambiance of the show here.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. It was if you guys haven't checked it out, Swatch has this new AI watch generator thing you can mess around with. So Rob and I challenged each other to make the most embarrassing watch for the other. We'll run through it later, but we need to do a quick cheers. Cheers to you guys. Cheers to you, Robert. Thank you for joining us as always.
Yes, thank you all.
Hitting that Balvenie this week. That, what was it, Caribbean Cask?
It's Caribbean Cask.
It is sweet.
14-year aged, so they do like the main aging, and then I think the last couple years are done in rum casks.
Cool.
Hence the
Sweetness.
Caribbean.
Yeah. Pirates of.
It's lovely though. It's
all
really
right.
Nice.
Let's. This is a watch show, so let's talk about some watches.
We can.
All right. We're gonna come out swinging. Like I said, we have a ridiculous batch of new arrivals on our. You're gonna take off.
Well, how am I gonna put these on my wrist?
All right, fine. I'll allow it, I guess. I'll allow it for now. Anyways, we have a really ridiculous collection of pieces here. We're gonna go ahead and kick it off with the one right front and center right there that is unmistakable, the Crash.
Yeah.
This, I mean, we've talked. I personally, I know that I've rhapsodized about the Crash
You
for
talk about
years.
Cartier?
I know.
Do you?
I know. Everybody knows the story of the Crash at this point. It's it's tired, but this is a really interesting one. So this is from Cartier's NSO program, which was the new special order program, which, it's gone through some changes over the past year or two. I think it was last year, 2025, that it kind of got reworked. But initially, the NSO program was a way for brand loyalists, brand super fans, hand-picked
VIP customers,
VIP
maybe.
clients, yeah. It was a way for them to work with Cartier to create basically bespoke, one-off creations within reason. And they were never designed to be piece uniques. Cartier never said, if you design this, we'll never make it again. But it was a way for any collector to really create, a piece that really spoke to their particular style and preferences. So this is a white gold Crash silver dial, just it's pretty straightforward, for a crash.
Those blued steel hands. But white gold is not in the catalog. I mean, no crash.
Well, no crash is in the catalog,
but,
technically.
But they do make the yellow gold one.
Right.
They make like one, or they release one piece a month, I think.
That's the Bond Street. So I was going to say, kind of like, like I said, everybody knows the history of the crash, but if you don't, if you've lived under a rock for 60 years now, the design for the crash came out of Jean-Jacques Cartier's London workshop in the 60s. And it was really, there's all these like kind of like apocryphal myths that kind of, surround the birth of the crash. Oh, it was a baignoire, or, that was in a car crash that, melted, and all this BS, basically. None of it's true.
Yeah, that would not be possible.
It's all like fun and interesting, but basically it was really a reaction to the time. It was the swinging 60s in London. Cartier's London workshop was creating like some of the coolest, most futuristic, designs, in the Cartier family, but also kind of in the watch world. There were, maybe Patek with Gilbert Albert, yeah, those pieces and whatnot. But it was a really experimental time. So this piece came out of that workshop in 1967.
And it makes so much sense because like they're jewelers.
Right.
Right? They're jewelers. They work in precious metal,
yes.
and they make interesting things.
Yes.
And so why can't a watch also be an interesting thing? Why
exactly.
does it have to be round?
And obviously it's gone on to become like, one of the most iconic watch designs of all time, one of the most recognizable, and now obviously one of the most desirable and sought after.
Which is a real recent phenomenon.
It is. It's
we
the past
should
couple of
add,
years, man.
This is really quite amazing because like when Justin and I were doing this, when
we started
7 years ago,
yeah.
We had a 91 crash that was hanging out on the website.
It was like $60,000 as well. I think it was like $67,500 or something. And then, Cartier as a brand, and especially the vintage pieces and the shaped pieces, the really interesting stuff, obviously took off, and it's never looked back. Like we said, just at that Hong Kong auction with Sotheby's, a London crash set the record for the most expensive crash ever sold. But it's still a super rare piece. Now obviously it's in the 60s. The London workshop made them to order basically through the 70s. There was a Paris edition in the 80s. There was another Paris edition in 91.
Right.
The early 90s, the platinum pieces.
The 91 was like very similar to what they're doing today.
Correct.
Where they brought back the cloche, they brought back the baignoire,
Yep.
right? They brought back the crash. It was another one of those playing the greatest hits kind of thing.
Right.
And those watches have disappeared.
The 91 stuff is like never shows up anymore,
No.
which is wild. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. And then, recently, like Rob alluded to, the Bond Street location in London, they put out a Bond Street crash, basically to celebrate, the like renovation and reopening of the Cartier's Bond Street boutique, and they would only sell one example a month. So it was this process, in order to
And they're
get
all
one.
yellow gold.
All yellow gold.
Blued
yep.
hands.
Very classic.
Silver opaline dial, blue cabochon. Like, it's exactly what I would want from Cartier.
Mm-hmm.
It is like their archetypal combination.
Yeah.
And then, so anything else you see, be it rose gold, be it black dial, be it platinum, white gold, any of
dial,
those,
yeah.
those are all part of the NSO program. The only exception would be those skeletons, because
Right.
those, I think, were
Which are
like
super
a
limited.
privé, collection privé.
Right. And like I said, so the NSO program, it ran for a while, and it was pretty under the radar, and it was pretty. I mean, it was always exclusive, but for a while there, it was very exclusive. Where like you didn't hear about it, you didn't see many of them change hands, and then all of a sudden, it's kind of started to snowball, and more of the pieces started to hit the auction circuit. You would see them on the secondary market, trading hands, and there was a pretty vocal subset of collectors who started to get kind of pissed at Cartier for basically like watering down the exclusivity of this program. I don't necessarily agree with the concerns, and I'm not as outraged as these people were, but Cartier did listen, and they really did.
Right, they
last
changed
year.
And I have to admit, if Cartier has made this change because of listening to their client base and
Kudos
their
to them.
collector base, then bravo.
No kidding.
Exactly.
The other thing
Bravo,
too is that, like,
because-
I mean, not that any of these pieces are cheap, but the NSO program, you really paid through the nose to have the opportunity to work with Cartier on these designs. And it wasn't like you could just say, like, okay, I want a rose gold crash with a pink dial and green hands. Like, you had to submit a design. Easy, down boy. You had to submit a design to Cartier, and then they would basically say yay or nay. So it really was like a deliberative process that they went through. But anyways,
what a cool thing.
super
And like
cool.
it always amazes me that like you go through that and then you choose to sell it.
Yeah,
You know,
I
like
guess.
I don't know. I feel like if I was that like in that deep,
Oh, I agree.
that Cartier, one, offered me the privilege, and two,
yeah.
I got to really have like kind of my own thing.
Mm-hmm.
I would think I'd want to keep that forever, but
I think if I had, I mean, especially
Times
for me
change,
with
tastes
Cartier, but like if I had if I was passionate about any brand, and like you said, I had the opportunity to work one-on-one with them to create something, and it was made directly to my specifications, like, I agree. I don't think I'd go anywhere. I wouldn't sell it either. But
As Mr. Cartier, I feel like I now have to ask you, what would that be?
that's a good question, Rob.
Justin McDowell. Hold on. It's Cartier. They want to know what
Let me take another
NSO
drink.
piece you want.
Man, put me on the spot here.
Have you not like thought about this for like
right.
hours on
So
end?
no, I actually haven't because I'm never going to get one. So whatever. I mean, I would love a Crash, but I think I would be happy with any Crash. It doesn't have to be NSO. I've said for a long time, but they don't make it anymore. But I really want a Tank Hussein. I've loved it for years and years and years, and I would love a white gold Tank Hussein with a blue dial and silver Roman numeral indices. I think it would be sick. Look up the Tank Hussein. It's like the rectangular bamboo.
That's a break the internet watch.
It would be so cool. But alas, they don't make that, and I'm not getting that phone call anytime soon.
Yeah,
so.
even NSO I think would be like no.
Well, they don't make it, period.
That would,
so,
right, they
yeah.
don't have that.
I still want
introduction.
Cartier. Please bring that back, man. Like, it's so
surprised they
rare and there
haven't
aren't
yet.
any of them. But
Yeah,
and it's been
'cause, like,
hot
the
recently
Pebble.
too.
They brought the Pebble back
did, yeah.
in a very limited capacity, which I think was great. And I think if they did the same thing with the Hussein, it'd be amazing.
It'd be insane.
So enough about Cartier. That was a lot.
That was good.
Of
That was good.
Cartier.
That was good. I
a
got
lot
my
of
fill. I
Cartier.
got my fill.
Let's talk about
Yes.
Patek. Let's talk about what could be considered the greatest Patek of the
Modern.
semi-modern era, because it's not really the modern era anymore. Like
so
the
sad,
current
no.
modern era is a different modern era than
And
this one.
is like, what you just the model that you just described is here, and then this one is like all the way up
Yeah.
here. This is insane.
So anybody who knows me knows that I can wax poetic about the 3940 for a very long time.
Yes, you can.
And
I can attest to that.
This is a 3940.
It is.
This is in white gold. This is with a salmon dial. And there are but a handful of these. This was made for the Saatchi Gallery.
So this was made in 2015 for Patek's 175th anniversary. They held their Watch Art Grand Exhibition in London at the Saatchi Gallery.
At which point, the 3940 had been discontinued for like 9 or 10 years.
So it went out of production in 2007, and this is in 2015. So yes, so 8 years after the watch had been discontinued. And the way Patek did that was they took new old stock cases, 3940 cases left over from the the end of production almost 10 years earlier, and they created a couple different variations with dials that had never been seen, never been used, formats during production. And you'll notice that the dials are more in the style of the 5140, so the next, basically the next generation 3940.
And this is real nitpicky stuff, but if you look at the fonts, especially like the best example is the Patek Philippe signature at the top.
Yes,
it's
it is
much
different.
larger
It is,
than
yeah.
it is on a 3940. That's kind of the biggest call out there, and everything else is a little bit bolder. This also has leaf-shaped hands,
Yeah.
which is different too, which gives it like a very different feel to it,
It does.
than the Dauphines.
This one is this is so special. We've in our tenure here, we've sold a couple Saatchi pieces. I think we had one other 3940G-029. We've had we had a couple. I can't remember what the other. We had at least one other reference.
I think we had a 5070 Saatchi, which is
You're right,
weird
you're right,
because
you're right.
it's a 5070 platinum blue, and they make a 5070 platinum blue, and the Saatchi one has like some small differentiation in it. But
Very slight difference.
the 5970
Yes.
salmon and the 3940 salmon were the crown jewels of that release. And
They also made rose gold brown and they made platinum blue.
That's what we
I think that's what we had actually. Yeah, you're right.
Rose gold
and
brown.
they also made platinum blue in this format, which
Yeah.
you know, Patek never disclosed how many pieces they made of any of these, but it's widely accepted that single digits of each.
I've heard
of
5.
each.
I've heard 8.
5 exactly. So it's in total across all, you know, the 3940 revival. Essentially, there's less than 20 pieces total, which is crazy.
A really cool watch. All of the other standard 3940 traits are here. We're in a 36 millimeter case. We have the caliber 240 micro rotor, arguably the greatest movement Patek ever made. I mean, they designed and first made this thing in, what'd you say, 79 or 77, something like that.
Yeah.
It was even pre-1980. And they're still using it
crazy.
today.
I
Like
know,
they're still putting this in
so
watches.
funny.
They haven't changed it. And I don't blame them because you know, if there's nothing wrong with it, don't mess with it, right?
Exactly.
So an absolutely stunning watch. And you know, we're seeing so much interest in Patek from the 90s and the early 2000s. I think especially as Patek continues to move the company in a new direction and start targeting kind of a different audience, different crowd. I think pieces like this are only going to get better.
Well, especially, yes, agreed. Even just regular 3940s are just going to get better and better, but specifically special, like legendary references like this that really commemorate something special for the brand. This is available in stock. This is full set, box papers, extra case back stylus, you know, everything.
You get the
big
big
cool
folder. It's like buying a Grand Comp, which to me is very cool.
This one's available for $575 on our website. I realized I didn't mention the Crash is available right now for $495. So hey, deal right there. If you want to save 80 grand, buy a Crash. Some friendly consumer advice for you guys. Okay, let's move right along because we have another really, really interesting. It's funny because we have like a bunch of like deep six-figure stuff.
And now for something completely different.
But this is just as interesting and just as cool in my opinion. And it just so happens we have 2 examples of the same thing. So this is the IWC 3509. It's the Ocean Bund. And this, we have both the military version here. So this is the Ocean Bund. And then we also have the IW 3504, which was the civilian version of the watch. But we're going to really talk about the military version first. Designed by Porsche Design, by Porsche Design, obviously, manufactured by IWC specifically for West German combat swimmers in the 1980s, actually. And this one, military issue, it actually has the military markings on the case back, and it's in like really excellent condition, which is so cool because like the vast majority of these just did not survive. Yeah. I think in our photos we'll show it as well. But like any military issue piece, whether it's like, those 60s Blanc Pons, or these, or, any of the Dirty Dozens, like they're always absolutely trashed because they're military issue.
It's a piece of kit.
It's a piece of
You're
kit.
not looking at it as like, ooh, look at my fine Swiss watch.
Exactly.
This is a piece of kit that they've given you, and you're probably using it.
Yes. Right?
Like you're in the field and you're using this watch.
Well, and so interestingly, so one of the differences between the two, and specifically speaking of use cases, the military Bund one has a black, so it's full titanium, obviously. It came on both NATO straps and this bracelet. This one has everything, which is cool. I should have grabbed that, but that's okay. But this has a blacked out bezel for visibility, and it also has that orange minute hand for added legibility underwater. The thing that I don't understand, Rob, is that the military one is rated to 300 meters, and the civilian one is rated to 2,000.
Because this is the Ocean 2000.
Correct.
Like if I pick up the civilian one now, this is the Ocean 2000, and this, if I recall, is the first watch that had a rating.
Yes.
Like that. This is the first like 2,000
meters, which is
dive watch.
Crazy.
Every time we get one of these, I am in awe of this watch. I think the design is killer.
Me too.
It looks
modern still.
The bracelet is amazing. They have held up. We get a lot of these that are in pretty decent condition, like this one is as well. And just to think about the R&D that went into this watch.
Yeah, for
there's no way they
2,000
ever
meters of water
recouped
resistance.
their cost on this watch.
Right.
This thing was so out of left field.
Yeah,
when
so
they came up with
over-engineered.
this. Yeah, and like it's so wearable. It's beautiful on the wrist. It's cool looking. Like
this has like amazing patina as well because it's all tritium. You know, this is mid. I think this one's from the mid '80s, the civilian one. That one's so. Rob and I were just talking about it. The civilian one is full set, as in like box, warranty, like everything. The military one has an extract from the IWC archive, and it actually has the original tool, the case back tool, which is like really. I wanted to grab it, but I forgot. Like super cool.
Also cool to see Porsche designed by IWC. This one IWC with the old script logo, front and center at the top there. And then Porsche design down at the bottom. That is what that says. That's what I thought it said, but I was like second guessing myself for a second that it was the depth rating or something. But,
super cool.
But really cool. I wonder if they did the black bezel because of the whole like make sure like it doesn't reflect anyway.
It was for legibility, 100%.
Okay, so that like that.
So the two differences, it's great now side by side. So it's the black bezel and then the orange minute hand again for underwater legibility.
Right. I mean,
killer.
These are so cool. Like this to me, this is Vibe City, man.
100%.
I would wear the hell out of either one of these very gladly. They're
again,
so
like
cool. I don't know how you size that bracelet, but
dude, when you look at it from the underside, it looks crazy. But it also comes with
like
those
HR Geiger
with those NATO straps, and it was like a Velcro kind of. I think originally they were stretchy. I'm sure you can get a replacement now, but yeah, on the NATO it looks sick. On the bracelet, it's just amazing. And again, full titanium, so like super lightweight.
It's so cool.
Really awesome.
Yeah. I know the Streamliner's great, but I feel like this is what the Streamliner wanted to be.
Yeah.
And this is better.
Well, yeah, if the Streamliner was made for, West German combat divers.
I've got the civilian one. This is the civilian one, but it's built like a tank.
It is.
I mean, I feel like I would use this as a sport watch. I wouldn't take it in the water.
No.
Because
screw down crown though.
It's an old watch.
Yeah.
And, although this case is like it's almost
tight.
Yeah. Man, design.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's cool. And again,
the design is so cool.
That's such like an overlooked piece from IWC's catalog that like I wish that they would bring this back. Like they make all, they still make the Mark line and everything.
You know what though? If they bring that back,
it would get ruined.
I don't think they wouldn't make that. They would make something close.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't make that.
But, I mean, honestly, I know for a fact the bracelet wouldn't be this svelte. Like, you know what I mean? It wouldn't articulate this nicely. I don't know how they did this. It's killer.
No.
Awesome piece.
It wouldn't be that.
Awesome watch.
Yeah, if you haven't sold that, it'll probably be sold.
I'll check my. I was DMing with somebody literally right before we went on camera about that watch. So I'll check when we get off. But yeah, check our website for that guy because it is available.
Changing gears again.
Slightly.
In a big way.
Yeah. We have two flavors of diamond set Nautilus here.
We do. Where do I start?
Wherever you want, Rob. We're talking about both of them. Not a big deal.
Let's start with the white gold.
So we have the 5713 in white gold, and then we also have...
Which is just one better than the 5712, for those of you playing the home game.
Jesus. And then we have a 5723 in full rose gold. So, like Rob said, we'll start with that 5713. This one dates to, I think, 2014. And it's interesting. I thought it was cool to kind of show them together because it's a little bit of like... It's interesting to see a piece from 10 years ago, 12 years ago, whatever it is now, when diamond set Nautilus and like diamond set Patek was still, it's not what we think of today, I would say.
It was to see something like this in our store was so rare back then.
Right. And well, this is a very rare reference, actually. It was only made for about 2 years.
Yeah, but even just anything diamond set.
Yeah.
This stuff just didn't come around. Guys didn't trade it the way they do now.
Right.
Now it's a little bit more commonplace. To me, it's still really remarkable, and it makes the watches really special. So this is full white gold bracelet with the classic ocean blue fume dial of a 5711.
Yep.
Same movement as a 5711.
Yep.
Same construction of the bracelet, although obviously a little bit more weight from the loveliness of the white gold. And then the round diamonds.
They're brilliant cut diamonds, set into the bezel there.
All the way around the bezel. And like, what a sick watch.
And again, like it's so interesting because, when we show off the 5723 in a minute, like this 5713 from 12 years ago is so much subtler and so much more under the radar, which is crazy to say for a diamond set white gold Nautilus, but like it's still, and I'm not saying that 5723 is not classy, but the 5713 is just like pure class. You know what I mean? It's very reserved, it's very high end, it's very special, but it's somehow not super shouty.
So this one I feel like carries on in the tradition of the 3700s.
Yes.
Right? Because, and we've seen the yellow gold 3700s with they usually have like multiple rows.
2 rows, I think, yeah.
Of diamonds in them. But it's like that kind of thing where it's like they didn't go over the top. They just added this beautiful touch of flair.
Yes.
Then when we get to the rose gold, now instead of the rounds, we've got baguettes all around the bezel.
Again, I'm so glad we have these at the same time because it's so interesting to see how big of a difference that makes. The bags versus the brilliant cuts.
Bags all the way around the bezel and bags on the dial. So now we're adding the markers, which, you know, versus the batons, it's trying to get 2 of them to not reflect. I'm like, I move one and then the other goes. The bags aren't like super loud, but when you get up close, you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
What do you got there? And to me, this combo of the rose gold with the brown,
it's really
I know
nice.
it's not your traditional Nautilus, and like this is what everybody wants in terms of like the blue dial. Can you take that one?
Of course.
This to me is like 5711 rose without the diamonds would be like the absolute best summer
Well, it's like I've said, the 5712 rose, the current production one with the brown dial, is like one of my favorite Nautilus now of all time. It's just like, it's so cool.
I don't know. I like the classic time only. There was a time I thought the 5712 was like the best because I love the asymmetry of it. But if you were going to buy me one, I'd actually go for time only. I don't know. There's just something classic about it. And that's the thing with this watch. I mean, this is, oof.
Yeah, it's next level. Again, like it's if you want to show off a little bit, like if you want to be, you know, in the boardroom and still be under the radar, you go 5713. If you want to show off a little bit, you go.
I didn't realize this was still in the catalog.
It is.
This is on the website, on the Patek website, which to me is pretty wild. And I think, you know, as I've said a few times, I think we are seeing the tail end of the Nautilus collection here. I think the Cubitus is taking over that kind of high-end sports watch category for Patek. And I mean, if this is one of those like kind of final references for the watch, I think that's really, really nice.
It's so funny because like when I was thinking about these two pieces, I was thinking about what we were saying about the Cubitus last week and how I'm kind of coming around to what Rob has been saying, that he thinks that the Cubitus is you know, Patek is phasing out the Nautilus, replacing it with the Cubitus. I think he's right, and I'm so mad about it, and I'm getting madder because like nothing that was ever debuted in the Nautilus line has made me as angry and like, or as disappointed as that stupid Cubitus Perpetual that we talked about that was released at Watches and Wonders. Like, they did some dumb stuff with the Nautilus. You know, the travel time wasn't great, the chrono was unwearable, but like, nothing design-wise that I was like, what the actual, you know, is Patek doing here?
That's why I say, the more new stuff that comes out, the better the old stuff looks.
Totally agree.
You know, maybe I'm getting to an age where I don't understand what's happening now. I don't understand some of the things that they've come out.
I don't either. We don't need to rehash that.
Yeah. Go watch the Watches and Wonders episode if you don't know what we're talking about.
Those are both in stock on our website, and like crazy part here, get ready for this. The white gold 5713 is available for. They're both full set. They're both 100%. $175,000 on the 5713. 5723 is $485,000. So crazy. Like, that's what current production, baguettes, extra diamonds, rose gold will do for you. But wild. It was interesting for me to think about those two next to each other. And like $175,000 is a ton of money. Feels right for that watch.
But it's not in the context of that. And in the context of Nautilus, and in the context of gem set Patek, that's actually like compared to what some people are paying for non-gem set stuff, I mean,
it's like Rainbow Daytona,
it's
basically.
not,
You know what I mean?
It's not
Like
that
that's kind
much of an upcharge from a 5811, though.
which is crazy,
right?
That's
what
crazy.
I mean.
That's
it's
crazy.
like that's what I do. Real
right,
quick,
I would say
because we're
quickly,
running out
we
of
are
time.
so far
I wanted
behind.
to talk about this because it's the first time we've ever seen one of these. This is not running, which is not going to be great because I want to chime it. This is a Richard Lange minute repeater. And one of the things I've always loved about minute repeaters is that they are the stealthiest of heavy watches. If you are sitting at the restaurant, sitting at the bar, and this is on your wrist, most people aren't going to look twice because they're going to think like, oh, he's got a nice watch. And maybe somebody would be like, ooh, enamel dial. You know, this happens to be, I believe it's a three-piece.
It is a three-piece
enamel dial. Each of the layers there, like the outer chapter ring, the inner, and the subseconds, are their own layer of enamel, which is very cool, own piece of enamel. And we get the blued hands, you get the black Romans, all signatures of the Richard Lange collection. And then you have the slider on the side that tells you that in the back there are little hammers that will chime gongs. And let me move the time a little bit so that we can hear all of the gongs. And I'm going to chime it close to my mic. Beautiful resonance.
It's really cool.
Like it's resonant.
When that second gong comes in, like it's really cool.
You can hear it continuing to vibrate. So we've been fortunate enough to have a handful of repeaters in the store now. You know, we've seen a lot from Patek. We've seen a Vacheron.
We've had a couple of Vacheron.
We've seen a few IWCs.
We've seen some APs.
We've seen some APs, some Ulysse Nardins, some Blancpains, and you know, we now have a pretty good feel of like what all these different brands sound like. And this, in my opinion, is one of the more remarkable ones. Like this is a really, really good sounding watch.
It is. Someone just asked what's the height of the case. So I know the diameter is 39 mil. It's shockingly slim for, I mean,
what do you think,
ready?
12?
Like, Rob, compare it to my Dado. Like, it's so much thinner.
Yeah, thinner than a datograph.
It's pretty impressive,
to
be honest.
There's not like that big ridge on the case back like there is on some of the more complicated Langes. It actually sits pretty flush there. And you can even see from the lugs, there's not a huge amount of downturn. So you know it's not like a really thick case where they've got to really put a steep rake on there for it to fit. My guess would be 12.
I don't even know if it's that, to be honest.
It's not like a 10 or under watch. Maybe it's 12, 13 would be my guess.
Yeah, but very, very wearable. Again, 39 mil.
And
it's
like easy to wear because it's like completely under the radar.
Right. It's special. And this is I think, it's the like longest third repeater maybe. It was after the Zeitwerk repeater that they did in a couple different formats.
I've never seen one of those, and I would love to get one in my hands.
But LE of 50 pieces, you know, super, super cool.
Yeah.
That's available on the site as well. I think that's $475. So killer watch. We have a lot of other...
In line with Patek's, and in my opinion, it should be.
Agreed.
And in some ways, like a nicer case back than some of the Patek's.
Than some of them, yeah, I agree.
Right? Like, incredible finishing. And I love that
you get the German silver, you get the engraved balance.
I love that it's a manual.
Definitely.
I love
then
that
you
it's
see
a manual.
everything.
There's no rotor in there to kind of like gum up the works. I mean, this thing looks amazing.
It's pure Lange.
Oh.
But so all of these, except for that Bund, are on the website, so go ahead and check it out. We have a lot of other stuff that just hit recently, some really, really special things. So please do go over and check out our inventory. But yeah, that was pretty cool. So we're going to go ahead and roll forward into some of Rob and I's favorite pieces from Watches and Wonders, because like we said, we spent a lot of time last week just kind of like blathering about what was new,
we wanted to
reacting.
cover as much as we could.
Yes. And we, now that, again, that the dust has settled, we're 2 weeks removed from all the releases, and it's been good to kind of digest everything.
You get to see more live photos, too. You get to see more, you get a lot of those press photos in the beginning, and you get some hand shots, which we know from the people who were there, you get like 90 seconds with the watch, and then it's gone out of your hands again. So it's a lot of like kind of rushed things. Now we've gotten to see some nicer like in-hand photos and things like that. And I think for both of us, we haven't picked what you think we would pick.
I know. Honestly, so one of Rob's picks I knew 100%. The other one I was legitimately shocked by. I did not expect it at all. Why don't you kick it off, Rob? Why don't you go with your first pick?
So my first pick, and I kind of alluded to this in the last show, is actually the Breitling Cosmonaut for Artemis 2.
I wasn't surprised.
I mean, I was a little taken with the romance of the whole Artemis mission.
You were.
And like us getting back into space and around the moon.
Rob was watching the re-entry in his footy pajamas with his popcorn.
I loved it, dude. I loved every bit of it. We watched it with my kids. It was
That is
fantastic.
actually very cool.
And I think they really like to bring the cosmonaut back with a blue meteorite dial. Like, it just looks great. I love it. I love that Breitling got to officially, brand the watch with their mission patch and everything. Like, to me, everything about it's just really cool. The only thing I don't like is that it is quite limited.
450. There's a chance, Rob. There's a chance.
It's gonna be a good Breitling. Like, it's gonna be one of those ones where like that's gonna exist at a good price point, and I think it should be because I think it's a cool watch. I think it signifies an important part of history within our lifetime.
Yeah, definitely.
We weren't here for the original moon landing.
Yeah.
Nobody went to the moon.
Contrary to how we look, we were not here the last time a man was on the moon. Yeah.
Nobody's been on the moon in our lifetime, and
Correct,
so for me, this was tremendously exciting. And I think as we know from Omega, like once a watch goes into space, they're never going to let you forget it.
Oh,
and I think it's really cool that Breitling got to do it this time.
It is cool. It is very cool.
Isn't that cool?
No, it's really neat. I think the blue meteorite, in and of itself,
it looks great, and it looks like an old school
cosmonaut,
which is all that it should be. Yeah.
I
didn't mean to cut you off.
I hope. No. I hope.
I need to put this on the other wrist. It is so uncomfortable on the right.
How dare you?
No, on the other. I'm putting it back.
I created that specifically for you.
The right wrist. It's better.
That would have actually been awesome if I did that, just to mess with you. No, but the Cosmonaut, super cool. I actually hope Breitling does more with the Cosmonaut line. Like, I hope they, kind of like the AOPA pieces that they did, the revivals. I would love to see like a Cosmonaut revival of like one of those like all gold ones with the black dial and the gilt printing. Like, we've seen, it's been a while.
But not gold-plated like the old ones. Although that would be kind of cool if they did that just to be true nostalgia. I think Breitling is under fantastic leadership.
Yes, they're
think George Kern is very smart. I think in listing, who's the guy they got to help them with all these historical models? I'm blanking on his name now.
I don't know.
He's like the historical Breitling guy.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
And they pulled him in to help design these things, and like they sent him watches so that he got to see them and stuff, and
Not
like
George.
they did it really well. They were very smart about it. So I love that watch. I would love to own one of those one day. I think that's a stellar one, and that's the one where like if I was going to buy something, that's what I would buy.
Nice.
Then.
Oh, we're not going to go back and forth?
Oh, did you want to go?
Yes.
All right.
I want to talk.
Fine.
Rob's just going to steamroll me as usual.
Go ahead.
All right. So one of my picks, which actually, the model debuted last year at Watches and Wonders 2025. It was more of just kind of like more, but the Zenith GFJ.
And you brought this to my attention because I completely missed it. I scrolled right by it and had no idea. And you were like, did you see that Zenith?
I am still so enamored with this watch. So last year they did a platinum version with a lapis dial. It's a 39 millimeter case, very thin. So GFJ stands for Georges Favre-Jacot, who was the founder of Zenith back in the 1800s. I don't remember when. And it kind of honors both him and the Caliber 135, which was this highly, highly awarded observatory movement from the early part of the 20th century. One of Zenith's like crowning achievements, basically, as a brand.
And this was pre-El Primero.
This is pre-El Primero,
This was before
correct.
they became like the brand of the El Primero. They were very serious watchmakers.
Yes.
And they were making very serious watches because back then, accuracy was super important because you didn't have your phone to check, right? Or your computer or the atomic clock, whatever it is.
Right. So they came out with these last year. I can't remember, it was the brand's like 160th anniversary or something. So this year they came out with two new versions, both limited. They came out with this yellow gold version that you can either get on a strap or the bracelet, which is killer, with a bloodstone jasper dial.
Yeah, that thing is nuts.
And what I didn't realize too is that that subdial is mother of pearl. So they used bloodstone jasper, and then green mother of pearl, which
Whoa, cool.
so cool. And the that outer minute track is fully like guilloche. It's fully engraved. And then this one is tantalum with an onyx style and diamond indices, and that also has the mother of pearl as well. So killer watch.
Really cool.
The yellow gold is limited to 161 pieces. The tantalum is limited to 20 pieces. So super rare.
Yeah.
But I think this is brilliant. I hope this, Zenith does more of this kind of stuff.
And what a cool thing for Zenith to do as well, not to say like, hey, here's this gyroscopic, crazy tourbillon, zero gravity, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They're like, here's a stunning watch.
Yep.
And like, that's all I wanted. That's all
Look
I
at
wanted.
that. That's
that's
killer.
it.
Killer.
Good job.
I know, right? Yeah, applause. Please clap. All right, Rob. Next pick for you. This one shocked me.
We got to go fast.
We do. I know.
Time, as always. So I actually really like the Rolex OP36 Jubilee.
I'm so shocked.
I really like this.
I agree, but
here's my thing: is this show? Nobody really came out with like the new like thing, right? There was no like, whoa. There's the thinnest whatever in the world. There's the most complicated whatever. Like there wasn't. This didn't strike me as a show, even though there was that Patek Celestial. Unfortunately, there were other aspects of that watch that completely overshadowed whatever complications were going on.
Garbage.
That's one way to put it.
Expensive garbage.
Sorry.
Continue.
So this was a show about, like, to me, this was a show about, like, almost revisiting what the watch industry was.
It's about
where it was like,
iterating
hey,
as opposed to...
let's make really cool watches.
Yep.
And to me, for Rolex, the Jubilee dial's been around forever.
It has.
And this is taking it to a place where, like, it feels like a Warhol for the wrist.
This is the best version of the Jubilee dial ever.
This is so cool. It is so fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously, right? The dial process of printing that thing is intense because it's like 15 different colors and it's like 15 different times they're like laying that over to like create this overlay. It's super wearable. It's 36. It's not the 41, which made me super happy.
It's steel, which like killer.
I would love to own this watch, but this thing's never going to be cheap.
Yes, it will.
No, it's not.
Yes, it will.
This is never
It
going to be
won't be
cheap.
cheap, but it
No,
won't.
it's not. This is so much better than the Celebration.
I agree.
This is better than the Wonder
Dude,
Bread.
the Celebration is not expensive. It's not cheap, but it's not expensive anymore.
Yeah, because it's not good.
Oh my god.
This is good. This is really good.
It is good. It is good.
I can never pay like 30 grand for an LP.
No,
and
no,
they're
no,
going to be so expensive.
No, it won't. It's not going to be 30 grand. Initially, it will be, but give it a couple of years, Rob.
Yeah.
Well, maybe for your golden jubilee, we'll for your 50th,
What's that,
buddy.
Like 75?
I don't know. That's your diamond. All right. My final pick. I'll be really quick so we can move on. The Bulgari Octafinissimo, the 37 millimeter. Like
you've been asking for this. For a long time.
Banging this drum for years. Easy now. I have wanted them to make a 37 millimeter Octafinissimo for a long time, and I'm so glad they finally did. I will caveat if we get one and it doesn't work and I have to like backtrack, I'm going to be so sad. But I am.
In that case, I will be bringing it on this show and making you say it to the people.
I can't wait though.
I don't think you're going to have that problem.
I can't wait because like
I think this is going to be good.
The standard 40 mil is just too big for my wrist with those big, the square corners, like that additional second level of the case there where the bracelet meets. It's just too much. Now,
granted, they changed the movement.
I don't care. It's a little thicker.
They could not, but I'm just saying the thing that I can appreciate about the full-size one is that they couldn't make it smaller.
You're right.
With the caliber that's in there.
Yep.
They could not put that in a smaller case. It wasn't big for no reason. It was the size it had to be.
And to be honest, the 40 is not big. It's just I have dainty little...
It's broad.
I
wears broad, though.
Yeah,
and
it's got big
dead
shoulders.
flat.
Right.
So if you have even just a rounder wrist, like you could have like a 7.25 inch wrist like me, but if it's very round and that watch is dead flat like that, it's going to feel really big on the wrist.
Does.
So, I think it's super smart, and I think based upon everything we've seen from Bulgari in the past 10 years, it's going to be really well executed.
It is.
Because they're actually making really nice watches.
And they're just going to build out this line. Obviously, right now, it's just the titanium and the gold. The gold is sick.
It looks so good.
And like I was actually surprised. So the titanium is like 16 grand. I think it's like 16 and a half.
Super
and
fair.
The gold is a lot. It's almost 50 grand. But still, I don't care.
Gold.
It's killer. I cannot wait to see one. I think I'm going to have to buy one. Hopefully my wife doesn't watch this, but I'm going to have one. So All right. Those are our favorites. Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat what you guys' favorite. I saw somebody call out that day date. Rob and I both loved the Jubilee Gold Aventurine dial. Can't wait to see that. There were a lot of really good releases. So, and we didn't talk about a lot. We didn't talk about Moser. We didn't talk about Vacheron. We didn't talk about a whole bunch of different things that, different brands that made really good stuff. Yeah. So let us know. We really want to hear from you guys what your favorite takeaway from the show was. On that note, we'll move on. We really wanted to talk about the Sotheby's Hong Kong auction that was held this past weekend. It was, I knew that there were a lot of really good lots. I had heard about this shaped Cartier collection, which was like, total catnip for me. But then we looked, on Monday and got the results and started going through it, and we're like, holy crap, there were some things that went crazy. My big takeaway was that, again, interesting, unique, special things, which, shocker, did incredibly well. You're more pedestrian, and I don't mean that in a negative sense, but you're more pedestrian.
More accessible watches.
Yes, but stuff that even a couple years ago or even a year ago were crazy numbers on them. They did fine, but they weren't lighting the world on fire.
Everything was solid.
Everything was solid, right? But what I'm saying is interesting. It's kind of like, I'm excited because interesting, weird, unusual, unique, special things are finally really getting the spotlight.
A lot of people have been talking about how the watch industry in the U.S., especially, and I know this is a Hong Kong auction, but the watch industry and the watch industry within the U.S. is very young.
Agreed.
And people don't put it in the same category as they do if you're an art
European
collector. Or if you're a wine collector.
Sure.
Or if you're, all of these other kind of things where it's not uncommon for an auction house to have a $100 million auction, a $200 million auction, And now the watch industry is getting to that point where somebody is going to buy, Paul Newman's Paul Newman and have it as a static art piece and as an investment instrument, in the same way they would buy a Monet or a Da Vinci or whatever. So what's that? Is that a trust fund thing?
Shut up, it's wine. All right, so anyways, we're going to go ahead. Rob and I picked a bunch of different lots we wanted to just kind of riff on. We're going to go ahead and let Kevin just kind of throw them up, at will here. All right, yes. I love that we started here. Lot 2238. So this auction was chock full of super interesting objects.
Some Cartier collector gave them a box of stuff and was like, sell this. And this person must have spent years putting this together.
I need to know who had all this stuff, and I want to meet them and shake their hand and be their friend because so much cool stuff. Anyways, these were really, really cool cufflinks. One had a functioning watch in it. Very beautiful pair of Cartier cufflinks. Let me log in right now so I can tell you what the final... Oh, man. Rob, vamp.
You were not prepared.
Oh, how dare you. How dare you. Go ahead. Do your thing.
So we saw a lot of really interesting kind of Cartier collectibles, things that you wouldn't expect to see in your given watch shop. There were a lot of these kinds of things that I don't even know how they marketed this stuff. But we've seen a lot of cufflinks with movements on them.
We have.
And we've seen a lot of cufflinks with watch pieces.
Yes.
Or in the shape of a watch. To get a cufflink with a functional watch on it, to me, is
so cool.
Beyond cool.
All right, next.
I wish it had the Romans. It was the regular Cartier style, but I love it.
Now?
I think it's awesome. Well, I'm filling time. What do you want me to do?
All right, next.
How much was it?
I can't find it. I'm sorry. I can't get my. I can't log in right now. It's not allowing me.
Really?
No, I know.
All right, next up, 2278.
Yes.
I saw this as I was scrolling, and this stopped me dead in my tracks. I could not believe what I was seeing. I've never seen a Cartier that looks like this.
I haven't either, and I am Mr. Cartier nerd. This is from the New York branch of Cartier from 1973. This is just so wild. So it's a skeleton.
I'm logged in.
Oh, you are? Okay. Skeletonized oval, and it is just so interesting. It's kind of pebble-ish, kind of Tano-ish. It is so cool. And I mean, the auction catalog doesn't say that it's unique, but come on. That's...
This, yeah, like, find me another one. This thing doesn't exist. I'm sorry. This is incredible. This, to me, I looked at this and I actually said, I wonder if Richard Mille saw this and then created a brand around it.
That's really funny.
Because, I mean, look at it.
Even look at the movement shape.
It's got the hour markers, like where he puts his screws.
Yeah.
It's got the skeletonized movement. This, no lugs. This is the coolest thing I have ever seen.
Unbelievable. Do you have...
So this is 2278.
Yeah. Go ahead and hit me with the number on that bad boy.
Final sale price was, and this is in Hong Kong dollars, 7.424 Hong Kong dollars, million Hong Kong dollars. So that's just under 1 million US. That's like 900 some thousand.
Yeah, dang.
For that watch. I can't remember what the cufflinks were.
It's okay.
What number that
2238.
was. 2238.
Yeah.
So the cufflinks were sold for 179,000 Hong Kong dollars, which is
22.5K.
22 grand
hell yeah.
for those
All
cufflinks,
about
which
it.
is cool. The coolest Cartier I've ever seen, that Richard Mille Cartier.
Next.
All right.
All right, so this is the one that we alluded to at the beginning of the show. This is the London Crash that set the record for most expensive ever sold at auction.
Which is not a Bond Street crash.
No.
This is the real
original
deal.
Yeah.
1960s London Crash.
Insane.
Yeah. This is bananas.
It's, I mean, we don't even need to say anything about it. Rob, what was the final
$2 million.
number? Yeah.
It was $15,616,000.
I think it was $1.92 million, I think, was like the final. And this even has damage, like the dial is a little bit damaged. It's kind of flaky down at like, 4 o'clock and up at, around 12. Doesn't matter. It's so rare. There's a tiny handful of these that were created. It even has the original deploy, which is nuts.
This is the real thing.
Yeah.
It's the real, this is it.
Yeah. It's really interesting, too, to look at these and see how hand-done the dials actually are, one next to the other. And especially when you compare it to like the one that's on the table, it's so much less uniform and it's so much more surrealistic than...
Somebody had to make that.
Right.
It's not like they were just like, oh, program the CNC or the printing machine and, there's your dial.
Right.
Like this, that's why this stuff is so special.
Yeah.
This has a soul. It's like a coach-built car.
This thing still has all the hallmarks on the case back. Like, this is nuts. It's so cool.
Killer.
All right, next.
$2 million.
Rob and I have been talking about this all week, and I'm so glad we had time to get to it. Okay, quick. So there were multiple gold walnuts that made by Cartier in this auction. This one has they call it like a purse watch. So this has you open it up and there is this tiny little clock, and then underneath you flip up the clock and there's space for your pills, Robert. I'm not kidding you. That's how it was sold. That's what it was billed as.
I love this. I have been ruminating on this one.
I love this so much.
Do you think this was something that was like in the case and somebody walked in and was like, "Yo, that walnut, that's for me"?
No.
Or did somebody go to them and be like, "I want a watch with a little bit of room for some snuff, and I want it to look
the PG version,
like a gilt walnut"?
An incredibly eccentric individual who had far too much money and was a great Cartier client walked into the boutique one day and probably high on ketamine or something, or God knows what drug from the 1970s, and said, "Yo,
no, dude, this was 58, 59.
Oh no, way even better.
58, 59.
So Quaaludes, baby, let's go." I love this.
This is when the Coke had Coke in it, didn't it? No.
But
so this.
It's so
Hold
cool,
on, get the calculator out.
I got it out.
960,000 Hong Kong dollars.
Yeah. All right,
somebody paid 120 grand.
I love it.
For a gold walnut.
I love it. Where else can you get a gold walnut to hold your pills that will also tell you the time? This is why I love Cartier. This is the coolest stuff. Like, come on.
I wonder if the guy who put that at auction had any idea that his gold walnut would fetch him 6 figures.
I want them to. I want like a CSI forensic analysis of like underneath that clock. I want them to swab it with a Q-tip and get back to me with like what kind of residue was in there.
Could you imagine going to like Pawn Stars with that and like he'd look at it and be like, "I'll give you
$80.
$200. Yeah.
All right, next up, we have like, oh, okay.
Oh,
Rob,
I picked this one because
you did.
I think this is probably one of the strongest Lange results I have ever seen.
Yeah.
And Lange is a company I've always really liked, and I've always wanted them to exist in the same conversation as Patek and AP and things like that. I think they really should. And this is now moving them in that direction because this is an original Lange Pour La Marie Tourbillon from the, this was the original launch of Lange in 1994.
This one's from 98, yep.
Right, I'm just talking about when they launched the brand in 94, one of the 4 original watches was the PLM.
Correct.
And then they made it over a couple years.
Yep.
Because they had a finite number of movements. Right. A lot of them are yellow gold, then there's a small number in white gold, small number in platinum, and there's a couple of interesting ones like this one in I swear to God, we did not AI these photos. I don't know what happened. I apologize. The fonts are really weird. I was looking at that. That is not, it's not like an Eastern Arabic dial. It went wonky when we uploaded something. But this sold, I was trying to, this is white gold, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, white gold. 10,368,000, which blew past their $2.4 million estimate. So that is
$1.3 million.
That's got to be the most expensive Lange I've ever seen.
It's the most expensive that I can remember, and I think rightfully so on this. Like, PLMs, are rare and special in and of themselves. We recently had, the yellow gold on the yellow gold bracelet. Like, they're such incredible pieces. This white gold with the blue dial is so rare and like next level special.
My favorite though is that rose with the black. There's a rose gold one with the black dial and it has like the little like diamond shaped markers on the quarters.
Yeah. So, like that's only like a very very quick selection of some of the stuff. There was a bunch more Cartier stuff. Yeah. There were more objects. There were like Cartier lipstick holders. There were Cartier keychains with clocks in them. Like. Yeah. Again, like whoever had all this stuff, like I want to be your friend, like please call me.
Go check it out. And if you make a free account, you can see how much they sell for. They won't show you that realized price.
There are some more really interesting auctions coming up soon that we're gonna talk about in the future. We'll make sure we devote more time to them because it's really cool to see this stuff, getting its due and people really like. I love seeing objects, horological objects, really kind of becoming a collector grade piece as well.
Again, it's the story, right? Like the story of Cartier is so incredible.
Yeah.
And like even just Cartier as a watchmaker, not even thinking about the whole jewelry side of everything, just thinking about their journey as watchmakers.
Yep.
And how
the history, the family story,
and their whole
it.
like how their like mainstay as jewelers influenced that and led them in a completely different direction than every other brand. It's so cool.
All right, before we run out of time, we need to address who won.
You need to address what the hell winning even means in this context. Because you're like, who did it? Like, please expound.
Okay. So Rob and I each were tasked with making the most embarrassing watch possible for the other, using Swatch's AI program. We both did it. We're both wearing them today. Rob made me a Tartan Trust Fund watch. I made Rob a bubblegum pink musical masterpiece.
Yep.
I think we both did stellar work here.
I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled on both accounts. I'm thrilled with what I gave and what I got.
Yikes. Okay. It was good for you. So we made this. We did a whole thing with it. I then posted on both Instagram, on YouTube, on all of our socials, asking, with the explanation, tell us who did a better job making the most embarrassing watch for the other, and asked everyone to vote. We got over almost 130 votes over the past 36 hours, since I posted it all. And with 57% of the vote, Robert, I am the winner, my friend.
I'm outraged.
I am the winner.
I am outraged.
67 votes, Robert, to your 51.
There's no way. This is not embarrassing. But what is embarrassing about this?
I said it when I made it that I was worried that Rob was gonna like his too much. So it's not much of a punishment, but the people have spoken, Rob, and you are now required to wear that watch for one full week, starting on Monday. Or you can start now. You can just wear it now, buddy. It's fine.
Woe is me. What can I say? What can I say? I love it, dude. I feel a little bit bad that I went.
You got mean. You fired some shots here, pal.
I do feel a little bit bad, but at the same time, when you look at it in the context of this distinguished fine gentleman and with that suit, like
it's perfect.
That kind of is. That's what it's all about, man.
Definitely.
And I mean,
you captured my essence. I'm pretty sure I captured yours, pal.
This with the pink Strat, it's perfect. Next gig, I'm wearing it.
Oh, hell, really?
100%.
You promise me? All right.
100%.
All right. Next show that Rob does in his 90s emo pop punk cover band, that will be on his wrist with his pink Strat. We'll have to make sure we get footage of that. But, anyways. Thank you guys, as always, for joining us. I cannot believe we're already a full hour into this.
I went very fast.
We skipped so much stuff. We always do. But really, thank you for joining us. It really means the world to us. Check out all of these new arrivals on our website. There's like hundreds more. Our inventory is bananas right now.
Please like and subscribe. We are finally starting to get some traction.
We
have 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is so fantastic. We love you all. Please help us with the algorithm.
Yeah.
We'd appreciate it.
Tell your friends, tell your enemies, comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll be back in 2 weeks for another show. Thank you again. We will see you guys soon.
Bye-bye, everybody.
See ya.